Randy McKee here with Soccer 605. I'm here with a player based out of Sioux Falls, or who grew up here anyway, who's been around the world actually playing soccer and is now playing at Sporting KC in their academy program, Mike Hlihor. Mike, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So you've had quite a journey. You know, we first, I guess, met back in the old days, back when you were an ODP player here quite a few years ago. And boy, you've been a lot of places since then, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been all over. Started with ODP and then went to Europe for a couple years, back and forth, and decided to come back to the U.S. and try playing in Kansas.
Well, I know you've been one of those players where we see a lot of players who don't see as much success as they want. Even though, I mean, like in your case, you've seen a lot of success, but I've seen a lot of players just quit after they don't see the kind of success they want. But you're staying with it,
right? And I think that's like a big thing about it with players that don't see success, and just sticking with it and following your dreams. And if you have a set dream and if you know what you want to do with your life, and that's what it is, I mean, you got nothing to lose but to work as hard as you can for it and try to achieve your goals.
Well, they talk about paying the price, and you've had to kind of pay quite a bit of price, being, especially when you're in Europe, they're just basically all alone, right?
Yeah, I mean, my experiences in Europe were basically sitting at home all day, waiting and hoping that we have at least 2 training sessions for the day. Or, I mean, it's really hard to be an outsider and go to a new country and trying to fit in with their lifestyle and everything in Europe. But I mean, I can say by my personal experiences that it's totally worth it if that's what you want to do with your life.
I know one thing you and I discussed while you're over there, I guess it was over Skype when in Facebook when we get a chance to visit. One thing that you noted was the coaches there were pretty strict and pretty leading towards discipline quite a bit, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, the coaches over in Europe and just the actual program that they run is so professional, and even at the younger ages, like 5 or 6 years old, they're already running professional programs where they train 5 to 6 times a week. And I mean, the seriousness that the players and the coaches put into it is just extreme, and you can really tell by the quality of the players and the quality of the game that they play in Europe.
Well, and that, really that's the difference between a professional club and an amateur club then, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe that is the difference. Just the coaching techniques, how serious they take it, and just like how much it means to all the players, honestly. Like in Europe, the economy is a lot worse than it is in the U.S., and players at a young age that decide that soccer is what they want to do for their lives, they take it so seriously, because if soccer doesn't work out, then like they could have not very much for their life. I mean, it's seriously like a career to them at even a young age.
I remember as a player, and even in college, I played with a lot of guys who came out of the projects, and boy, the one thing they didn't want to do is go back.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So while you're in Europe, you probably got to keep close track with your parents. But I mean, your dad grew up in Romania, right? And that's back where you went to play in the club level.
Yep. Both my parents are from Romania, and Romania is actually the place where I spent most of my time, but I tried England, Spain, and Germany as well. And Romania seemed to work out the best for me, but just with the language and stuff, it was a little bit easier with me. And Romania is kind of closer to home for me, as you could say, just because of my background.
So now you're back in the States. You are down at Sporting KC. How what happened to get you there at that club?
Well, before I went to Europe, about 4 years ago, I actually went down to Sporting KC, and they didn't have a team for my age with the academy, but they had a team that was a year older than me, and I went down there and trained with them and kind of got in contact with the coach and just wanted to see what he would say about me. And he seemed to like me, and I wasn't ready to move at that time. And after I came back from Europe, my dad regained contact with the coach down there, and I gave him my resume and let him know that I wasn't interested in coming back to the U.S. and playing in Kansas, and he told me to come down and he can take a look at me, and from there it's basically how it happened. He liked everything, so.
Well, so what's your typical day like there then? I mean, if you, obviously you're here now for a little break during the summer, but you're going to be back there again pretty quick. And what are your days like at Sporting KC?
Well, with Sporting, I live a normal American life, basically. We train every day of the week, but I still get to go to a public school, and I've made friends, and life is a lot like in Sioux Falls, only with that professional program every day after school.
So, we were talking a little bit earlier, and I want the folks watching to kind of get in on some of that because, I mean, you get trained in training from a lot of really high-level coaches here in the U.S.
Right. I mean, I know that the level of coaching in Kansas is a lot higher than a lot of people might expect with the MLS and everything. We have coaches over there. We have for goalie coaches, they basically coach you on your position, fitness coaches that watch your fitness, your body, just to make sure that you're fit all the time. We get coaching from the actual first team coach, Peter Vermees, that coaches the Sporting Kansas City professional team. And I don't know, I mean, we have a lot of different coaches for a lot of different things at Sporting.
Do you use the same training center and facilities as the top side do?
Yep, we have the same training facility as the professional team does, and we get to train alongside of them every once in a while. We have different training schedules as well, but we see them every once in a while.
So you probably are right now playing with players from all over the country and probably some international players too, right?
Yep. At Kansas, from what I understood, we have like a region of where they're allowed to grab players from, and we have like the Region 2 with Sporting, and they can grab players from all over the country, but we have a couple players from out of state, and me being out of the country, out of the state, I don't know what you would call it, but there's players from all over, and the teams I played against have some of the highest level players in the U.S., and it's really fun to get to see what the competition is at the highest level.
You know, a lot of people here in South Dakota and around our area can remember you as a U12, 13, 14 player, a big, strong kid, very dominating. But you probably had to change the way you played quite a bit once you got playing with the guys who were just like you.
Yeah, it's actually, that's a perfect way to put it. As soon as I got up to that level and I got the opportunity to see what it was going to be like there, everything from the game tactic to the way that I played changed completely. I mean, here in South Dakota, it was a lot based on individuals, like me getting the ball and trying to do what I can. But in Kansas, it's like a real team game that we play, and it's very professional. Just, it's hard to explain with words. It's easier to show you like through a game, but my game has changed completely. It's a lot of really quick 1-2 combination plays now instead of running at defenders and trying to do what I can by myself.
One thing I noticed at that level is when your team has the ball, everybody's working.
Everybody's working, of course. I mean, our left back can have the ball, and our right midfielder can be making a run because we can play 50, 60-yard balls perfectly. And I mean, it's really fun to be a part of that, to be honest.
Well, Mike, we're very happy to see that you're achieving that dream and you're sticking with it. And, we continue to watch your career very closely and enjoy that. If you say we got a 12-year-old player out there who's watching this right now and, really wants to achieve that high level of success, what are a couple things that you would advise that player to do?
Well, if he is living in Sioux Falls, I would say go to your practices that you go to, but put in 2 or 3 times as much work on yourself, by yourself, outside of your training sessions, because I know it's not much here in South Dakota, but I mean, if you're 12 years old and you think that this is what you want to do with your life and it's like a future for you, then seriously work as hard as you can and do as much as you can by yourself out here on the fields, working as hard as you can. I mean, and don't focus so much on just like shooting the ball into the goal. Get yourself some cones and really try to move your feet as quick as you can. And I mean, running and everything really helps a lot.
How about attitudinally?
Attitude, always keep your morals up. I mean, I get that from my dad all the time, and self-confidence is the biggest deal. Like, never get down on yourself, and always know that during a training session or anything, if you mess up 3 or 4 times and if you get one thing correct, then you know that you're learning. Like, even for me, I never get everything right all the time. It always takes time and practice, and if you can get 2 or 3 things out of 10 tries, then I'm pretty sure it's going well for you, and just keep sticking with it.
Fantastic. Well, Mike, thanks again for spending a little bit of time here on your break with us. We're, like I said, we're really watching that career of yours and really enjoying your climb up the ladder. And hopefully we'll see you in one of these top sites here one of these days.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Mike Hlihor with Sporting KC.